The first time I saw the shadow in my basement, I thought it was a trick of the light. But then it moved, and it wasn't alone.
Did you hear that?
Hear what? There's nothing down here.
No, listen, it's like whispering, like it's coming from the walls.
The air grew colder and the faint sound of scratching began to echo through the room. It wasn't the kind of sound you could ignore. It was deliberate. Hungry.
We need to leave. Now.
And go where? It's everywhere. Can't you feel it? It's watching us.
The shadow shifted again, stretching across the floor like spilled ink. It didn't just move. It reached. Toward them. Toward me.
What is that? What the hell is that?
I don't know. But it's not... it's not human.
The whispering grew louder. Words I couldn't understand but felt deep in my bones. A language that didn't belong to this world. And then the shadow spoke.
You shouldn't have come here.
Who's there? Who said that?
You've been marked. You can't leave. Not anymore.
The voice was wrong. Too deep, too hollow, like it was coming from the bottom of a well. And then the shadow began to take shape. A figure, tall and thin, with eyes that burned like embers.
Run, just run.
But the door was gone. The walls were closer, the ceiling lower. The basement wasn't a basement anymore. It was a cage.
What's happening? This isn't possible.
You brought it with you, the mark. It's been waiting.
The figure stepped closer, its movements unnatural, like it was gliding on air. The whispering turned to laughter, low and guttural, filling the room until it was all I could hear.
What do you want from us?
Everything.
And then the lights went out. The laughter stopped. The air was still, but I could feel it. Closer now. So close I could almost touch it.
Please, just let us go.
Too late.
The last thing I saw before the darkness swallowed me whole was its smile. Wide, endless, and filled with teeth.
It's not over. It's never over.
And then, silence. But not the kind of silence that brings peace. The kind that waits. The kind that knows you're still there.
What do we do now?
We wait. We hope it doesn't find us again.
But deep down I knew it would always find us. It always does. Narrator. Hours passed. Or maybe it was minutes. Time didn't feel real anymore. The air was thick, heavy, like the walls were closing in. The shadow was gone, but its presence lingered. A cold weight pressing against my chest.
Do you think it's still here?
I don't know. I can't tell what's real anymore.
The basement door creaked open, and for a moment hope flickered. But the light that spilled in wasn't from the hallway. It was dim, sickly, like the glow of a dying bulb. And standing in the doorway was another figure.
You thought you could hide from me?
No, no, no. No, this isn't happening.
What do you want? Why are you doing this?
You already know. You've always known.
The figure stepped inside and the door slammed shut behind it. The room seemed to shrink, the walls pressing closer, the ceiling dipping lower. The air grew colder, and the whispering started again. This time, it was louder, clearer.
You made a promise, a deal, and now it's time to pay?
What deal? We didn't make any deal.
Not you, him.
The figure pointed at me, its finger long and twisted, like a branch stripped of its leaves. My stomach dropped. Memories I didn't know I had began to surface. A dark room, a contract, a name signed in blood.
I don't remember. I swear I don't remember.
Lies won't save you, nothing will.
The figure lunged, its form dissolving into smoke as it moved. The whispering turned to screams, and the room was filled with a blinding light. When it faded, the figure was gone. But so was she.
Where is she? What did you do to her?
She's where she belongs, and soon you'll join her.
The door creaked open again, and this time, the light was normal. The hallway was there, just as it had always been, but I knew it was a trick, a trap. The figure was gone, but its voice echoed in my mind.
You can't run. You can't hide. I'll always find you.
I stepped into the hallway, my legs trembling, my heart pounding. The house was silent, but the silence was worse than the whispers. It was waiting, watching, and I knew it wasn't over. It would never be over.
What do I do now?
But there was no one left to answer. Just the empty house, the creeping shadows, and the knowledge that I was never alone. Not really.
You'll see me again, soon.
And then the whispering started again. Soft at first, but growing louder, closer. I turned, but there was nothing there, just the shadows, and the feeling that something was reaching for me. Something that would never let go. Narrator, I stood there in the hallway, frozen, the whispers clawing at the edges of my mind. The house felt alive, breathing, its walls pulsing like a heartbeat. I knew I couldn't stay, but where could I go? It was everywhere. In every shadow, every corner, every breath of air.
This isn't real. This can't be real.
But it was. The mark on my arm, the one I'd tried to ignore, began to burn. I looked down, and the skin was blackening, spreading like ink. The whispers grew louder, more urgent, until they were a deafening roar.
You belong to me now.
I ran. Out the door, into the night, the cold air biting at my skin. But no matter how far I went, the whispers followed. The shadows stretched longer, darker, until they swallowed the world around me. And then, I saw it. The figure, standing at the edge of the woods, its smile wide and endless.
Leave me alone.
You can't escape. You never could.
I turned, but there was nowhere left to run. The woods were behind me, the house ahead, and the figure was everywhere. The mark on my arm burned brighter, and I felt it. The pull, the inevitability. I was out of time.
Come home.
And I did, because I had no choice. The shadows closed in. The whispers became a song, and the figure reached out its hand. I took it. And then there was only darkness, and the knowledge that I was never alone. Not really, not ever.